As children run around playing and doing home chores, they could hurt themselves or get bruises. Usually, the cut will stop bleeding immediately after a simple wipe or washing, and the child will be fine hours or a day later. But that is not the case with this young man, who we shall only identify as Timothy. He almost died at 9 months when he fell and beat his upper lip. He bled profusely and had to be rushed to hospital because of that small cut.
When I reached Mulago Hospital, they advised me to go and see the dentist. When I went there, the dentist told me that he's going to stitch that part so that the bleeding stops.
But even at the hospital, the medical workers could not stop the bleeding. The best they could do was to transfuse Timothy with more blood to keep him alive.
In Mulago Hospital, before we got the treatment, we had spent there 1 month. And within that 1 month, the kid, they gave our kids 14 units of blood.
The boy has a condition called hemophillia. It is an inherited genetic blood disorder that curtails the body's ability to control blood clotting when a blood vessel is broken. The injectable protein known as factor substitutes the natural blood clotting process, where artificial platelets flock to the site of the wound and clamp together to stop the bleeding.
When someone has an injury, the body responds to that injury by calling different cells to come to that place. Now, this factor 8 is one of the main factors that help in stopping bleeding. And when we replace or give the factor 8 to these children, it helps the bleeding to stop.
It is a rare condition. In Uganda, it's estimated that 3,884 people have hemophilia, yet only 3% are diagnosed and less than 2% get proper treatment. Susan Nalumansi has never come to terms with the death of her 2 children, but she later learned that they were hemophilic, and this has helped her give the necessary care to her son.
I try to protect my son from falling and hurting himself when he is playing.
Mama Gonza is another mother who frequents this pediatric ward at Mulago National Referral Hospital, seeking care for her 10-year-old son. This time, she brought him after the boy suffered internal bleeding in the knee after a fall.
They may have actually swollen joints which are painful due to bleeding in those joints, the knee joints or the ankle joints. Okay? Or if they've fallen in the upper extremities, you find the elbow joints are actually swollen.
She got to know about her son's condition after his tooth was extracted, but bleeding could not stop.
Each time he removes a tooth, he ends up in hospital getting a blood transfusion.
Or now that it's quite common, people are doing circumcision, they will go for a circumcision and the bleeding will not stop.
Work without play makes John a dull boy, but with Timothy's case, playing is very restricted as it could cost him dearly. Nakasero Blood Bank has been providing fresh frozen plasma and cryoprecipitate to Mulago, but this comes with numerous risks and the supply is unreliable. So the patients almost entirely rely on factor donated by the World Federation of Haemophilia, Project Share and the Great Ormond Street Hospital, a child's charity in the UK.
One of the challenges we have is that the diagnosis of hemophilia is laboratory based, in the sense that you may be able to see a child who presents with these symptoms and signs, but for you to confirm the diagnosis, you require a laboratory test. And currently, we have very few laboratories which can do that.
Besides, not many health workers, especially in Uganda, are knowledgeable about hemophilia and therefore end up with wrong diagnosis or don't know how to deal with the patients.
And we in Mulago actually see only those who are able to make it to us. And that is a big challenge. So the important aspect of this condition is really to have more people educated about it.
Activists are therefore asking government for special interventions on the bleeding disorder, just like in the case of many children's illnesses that are diagnosed and treated for free. Irene Namialo, NTV.
you.